Hi guys, and welcome back to Tremor Trails. Today we're in the Escalante Nation Monument. If you watched our last video, we were out here doing a trail that the Mormons actually built to try and get down to the Colorado River called Hole in the Rock. We're in the same area, and now we're going to be doing a trail called the Smokey Mountain Road. This trail takes you all the way up over the mountains and then back down to the Colorado River. We did about 8 miles last night, and it was beautiful. I can't wait to show it to you guys. Think of this place as a national park, only with BLM rules. You can camp anywhere you want out here. Unfortunately though, we can't fly a drone, so we're going to do our best today to film the trail and keep it as interesting as possible for you guys, but this is going to be a beautiful one, I can guarantee it. Here's the overview, and then we will get going on the trail. All right, Smokey Mountain Road. Obviously, that's an Escalante National Monument in Utah. The trail itself was a little bit over 60 miles. You can expect about 4.5 to 5 hours to get this one done. Out on the trail, it's got everything. Mainly, it's a dirt road, but you're going to have level 2 and level 3 rock crawls at the beginning as you go through some washes and a creek. You have slick rock in certain sections. You have some pretty high shelf roads, and you have some deep sand to contend with as you get towards Lake Powell. The modes I used was pretty much 4 auto the whole way. I did use deep sand and snow and the lockers in one spot at the end of the trail. As far as highlights go, it's really just going to be the scenery and the diversity of this trail. You are stepping down from 8,000 feet all the way down to the Colorado River, and so you have all kinds of different terrains that you get to navigate. It makes for a really fun day. Please remember that our cameras have stabilizers on. The hills are not going to appear steep, and the bumps are not going to be as rough. Also, remember that we review this and every trail at the end of our video. Now let's go check this one out. Now, this was our first time in the Escalante. We stayed out here for 2 nights, and we actually took this trail about 4 miles in last night and found a place to camp. And just from that 4 miles, I was like, man, this is going to be a fun trail. I couldn't wait to wake up and start seeing what this trail is all about. And really, this trail continues to surprise all throughout the day. The first 8 miles or so of this trail, you're going to be in the Willard Canyon, and you're actually going to take the creek bed, and you're going to follow that creek bed up through the top of these plateaus that you see in front of us. There's some level 2 and level 3 ledges that you got to navigate, which are really fun. They're the kinds that don't screw up your truck, but are just fun to drive over. They do a great job maintaining this trail. They'll let you know when it's closed with high water or with snow. We got out here in mid-April, and while there's still snow on the higher elevations, it is a balmy 72 degrees today. It took us about 45 minutes or so to get through the Willard Canyon Creek section, and it was a blast with the cool rock formations and the ledges that you get to navigate. Like I just said, they're the kinds that are fun to drive over and tweak out the truck but not have to worry about banging something. And the only time I'm going to say it in the video, I'm sorry that I didn't have the drone available, guys. They just won't let me fly it out here because I might injure a cow or something. I don't know. From here, however, we're going to leave the creek behind and we're going to start gaining elevation as we climb up towards the top of these plateaus. was an absolute blast. So we just made it out of the canyon. We are now up on top of a massive plateau. From here, we're gonna head towards Big Water, which is about 49 miles. So I assume that we're going to head back down off of this plateau all the way down to Lake Powell in the Colorado River. So far, the scenery's been incredible. We're having a blast out here. It is a beautiful, beautiful day. From here, you can see all the mountains to the north. You can see the Henry Mountains off to the east, covered in snow. Yeah, this has been exciting. Let's go see what else we can find. Section 2 is really just driving these plateaus, starting to get down in elevation a little bit. Still a lot of elevation to go, but we're starting to see a couple of shelf roads. There were a few rock obstacle or rock gardens that you had to navigate over, nothing crazy, and a few little washes that were fun to drive through. Each step down, the views continue to open up and get more expansive, and can't wait to see what Section 3 looks like if this was Section 2. Really a unique trail. So far, every section has been different from the last. All right, so we're about 20 miles from where we left you guys last. We stopped to stretch really quick. It looks like we are now starting our descent down towards Lake Powell. We still have a lot of elevation to cover before we get down to the bottom, but we're starting to do the shelf roads and get down further. So I figured this would be a good place to stop and stretch for a minute. The trail in that second section was pretty good. The road conditions are really well for all the snow that they've had up here. The views continue to be incredible. Right behind me, I will zoom in here in a second. There's an arch at the top of this mountain. And I know that cameras don't show distance very well. We're just having a blast out here. It is a beautiful day. It's in the high 60s and not a cloud in the sky. So anyways, we figured this would be a good spot to stop and stretch our legs real fast. Let's jump back up in the truck and see what else is on this trail. Section 3 was definitely the bumpiest of all the sections this day. We are now on this massive flat plateau, and then all of a sudden you just drop off of a cliff. Like I said a few minutes ago, every section of this trail all day long surprised us, and I just couldn't believe what we were staring at. You could see for 20, 30 miles up here as you drop 4,000 vertical feet. This really was a surprise. I was not expecting these kind of views at the end of this trail. This trail continues to surprise. This has to be one of the most beautiful trails that I can remember doing in a long, long time. I mean, as you know, on the Escalante, you start around 7,000 feet or so, and you just keep stepping down, stepping down, stepping down, stepping down until you get to the Colorado River. And coming off that last section was just beautiful. It was crazy. I know that the depth is not going to show up on the camera. You're just going to have to get out to this one. We have made a quick left turn, and we are now on the Crosby Canyon section that butts up to Smokey Mountain Road. We're going to spend the night out here. You don't have to, you can do this trail in one day, but we're going to go down to the lake and try and find a cool camping spot and take it easy and enjoy the scenery out here. This place is beautiful. We've seen 4 people all day out here. So this area is kind of a sleeper area. I've known about it personally, but I haven't seen a lot of stuff done about it. And I'm telling you guys, this is a really good one. If you want to get kind of away from the crowds, but you want to do that Moab type of stuff, this is kind of a spot to look at. Anyways, we're going to head all the way down to the lake and see what we see on this side chute of the Smokey Canyon Road, and we will see you down at camp. How's that for a view? We're gonna finish here, I believe. There's about 3 miles left of Smokey Mountain Road, but it just takes you into Big Water, and it's really just a straight dirt road. So we figured we would end here. Unfortunately, as many of you know, Lake Powell is suffering from drastic drought. And where I'm standing right now is probably under 20 feet of water. And the water is another 100 or so feet down. We drove all the way out to the point to check it out. It's a shame that all the water is gone from here, but it's still beautiful. Today was a big surprise. We absolutely loved this trail. This is probably one of our most favorite trails that we've ever done, and we have been blessed to do a lot of them. The weather couldn't have been better for us on this trip. It's 72 right now, and at night it gets down in the 50s. It's perfect camping weather. We filmed this in the middle of April, so you still got time to get out here before the hot summer really kicks in. As far as the trail itself, let's get to the reviews really fast. For fun, this was a fun trail. I love trails that are 2s and 3s but still have obstacles that you got to navigate so you don't get bored. And this is what that trail was all about. Starting in the canyon, you had those rock climbs, those easy rock crawls, but they were still entertaining. You got up onto the plateau, you had a minute to breathe for a minute. You got to the big shelf road towards the end of the trail, and then you jumped down into sand. So for fun, this is getting a 4.5. I can't remember having this much fun in a long time. For fear, I don't think this is really a fearful road unless you're not familiar with shelf roads, but the shelf roads are really well maintained and really wide. No pinstriping on this trail. As far as the sand and the shelf and rock obstacles, I was never in fear. I would say for fear, just because of the shelf road, I'll give it a 2. That leads us into technical, like I just hit on. This is not a super technical trail. If you don't have a lot of seat time, this is a great trail to learn on, like I just said. For technical, I'm going to keep it right where they say it is. I think this trail, for me, leans to a 2. Maybe a 2.5, but I'm going to say it's a 3 overall technical, only because of the short sections that you have. A lot of it is lots of time driving, just enjoying, and then you get into some fun challenges, but nothing extreme. That leads us into scenery. This was one of the most beautiful trails that I can remember in a long time. And I think it's because you start pretty much at the top of the mountains and you just keep stair-stepping your way down as you get to the Colorado River. And I mean, it's just beautiful. There were a few sections that were like, because you were kind of in the trees for a moment. And there was 1 or 2 stretches where you're just kind of doing straight up on a plateau. But nonetheless, pretty much all day long, no matter what direction I looked, I could see something really beautiful. For scenery, this is getting a 4.5. This is one of the most beautiful trails that we've ever done. Like I mentioned in the intro, think of this as a national park only with BLM rules. You can camp almost anywhere on this trail, and there are several that I marked on my personal map that if we ever get back here, we can stay at. I mean, every couple miles, there's just another drop, jog, beautiful place to camp. As long as you have high clearance, you're going to do this trail just fine. If you're in a stock Tremor, you can do this trail. You may have a few spots where you're going to bash your plate or maybe your running board, but it's going to be very minor. For the most part, they have sanded down, just like if you've ever been to Moab, they have sanded down different chunks of rock where it may be a major obstacle. Obviously, if you're in a Sprinter or anything larger than a full-size truck, I would not recommend this trail because you're not going to get through it. The best thing about this place is it's free. You don't got to pay a fee to get in here. You can do this whole trail in one day, no problem. I think I have about 5 hours of driving time. This is a really great trail if you want to spend just the weekend and get out here, come do it. I can't wait to make it back to this place and explore it some more. This one's definitely going high on my list. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up down below. I will do my best to answer it for you. And until next time, guys, we hope to see you out here on the trails. Bye.